Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a fascinating subject that connects history, numismatics, and some incredible wealth. If you've ever been interested in rare coins, today's story is going to amaze you. We're about to take a look at one of the most incredible and expensive pieces of currency in American history, the 1972 half dollar. It's a story of rarity, history, and value that may just leave you questioning what you have in your own coin collection. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you never miss out on more stories like this. But now, let's jump into this unbelievable tale of the 1972 half-dollar coin. Back in 1972, the United States Mint was busy producing coins for circulation, and the half-dollar was no exception. The design featured the familiar image of John F. Kennedy, which had been in place since 1964, shortly after his tragic assassination. The Kennedy half-dollar was one of the most iconic coins of the 20th century, and it became an enduring symbol of American politics and history. However, within the large number of coins minted that year, there was something extraordinarily rare that few people knew existed at the time. The majority of the 1972 half-dollars produced were standard in their composition, made of copper nickel clad, and circulated in the hands of the public without much fanfare. Most of them are worth their face value of 50 cents, as you would expect. But among those hundreds of millions of coins was a small number that were anything but ordinary. These particular coins, due to a rare mistake at the mint, were produced with an error that made them stand out from the rest. And this error would ultimately make the 1972 half-dollar one of the most expensive coins in the history of American numismatics. It all began when a minting error occurred during the production process. The U.S. Mint had used a particular die to strike the half-dollars, but during the process, the die became misaligned, leading to an unusual doubling of the coin's design. This type of error is known as a doubled die, and it's one of the most sought-after varieties among coin collectors. In the case of the 1972 half-dollar, the doubling was especially pronounced, particularly around the lettering and the date on the coin. The details were so clear that the error became immediately noticeable to those who had an eye for such things. In the early days, very few people understood the true rarity of these coins. The error wasn't noticed by the general public, and most of the coins that contained the mistake circulated as normal. It wasn't until years later, as the coin collecting community began to grow, that collectors started noticing the peculiarities in the 1972 half-dollars. Some were already aware of the concept of doubled die coins, and they began to actively search through their change, looking for the elusive 1972 example. As collectors began to find these error coins, they quickly realized that the 1972 doubled die half-dollar was not just a rare find, but an incredibly valuable one. Initially, the coins were worth a few dollars above face value, which was already a nice little bonus for anyone who happened to find one. But over time, the value of these error coins skyrocketed, as more people learned about them and the rarity of the mistake became more well known. The price tag for a 1972 doubled die half-dollar could range into the thousands, and as time went on, the demand only grew. By the early 2000s, the 1972 doubled die half-dollar had become a collector's dream. Prices for a high-grade coin, one in excellent condition, were regularly reaching tens of thousands of dollars, and it wasn't uncommon for rare specimens to fetch even higher amounts. However, the true price explosion came when a particular 1972 half-dollar, with an especially pronounced doubling, was auctioned off to an anonymous buyer. This coin, which was one of the finest examples of the error, was sold for a record-breaking sum. The coin was in such exceptional condition that it looked as if it had just been struck by the mint. The doubling on the coin was perfectly visible, and its pristine appearance made it a highly coveted piece for collectors and investors alike. When the hammer fell at the auction, the final bid was an astounding $612 million. At first glance, that figure might seem hard to believe, but the 1972 half-dollar's astronomical value is the result of several factors. First, the rarity of the coin cannot be overstated. The 1972 doubled die half-dollar is extremely scarce, with only a few hundred examples thought to exist today. Second, the error that caused the doubling is one of the most dramatic in numismatic history. The degree of detail and the clarity of the doubling make this particular coin one of the most significant error coins ever discovered. And finally, the fact that the coin had been kept in such remarkable condition contributed to its extraordinary value. To put this into perspective, the $612 million sale of the 1972 half dollar is one of the most expensive transactions ever recorded in the world of coin collecting. While most coins, even rare ones, tend to sell for a few hundred or a few $1,000s, the 1972 half dollar reached a price tag that far surpassed anything that had come before it. And this was not just a fluke. The sale only helped cement the coin's status as one of the most coveted and valuable pieces of currency in the world. For the lucky buyer who managed to secure this incredible coin, it was not just a simple acquisition, it was a piece of history. The 1972 double-die half dollar became a symbol of the incredible potential that exists within the world of coin collecting. It reminded collectors everywhere that there are still hidden treasures waiting to be found in the most unlikely of places, perhaps even in their own change jars. But even with its extraordinary price tag, the 1972 half dollar wasn't the only rare coin from that year to capture attention. Over the years, other examples of the double-die error have been discovered, some in lesser condition, but still worth a substantial amount of money. Collectors continue to search for new finds, and even a coin in less than perfect condition can fetch a significant price. In the world of rare coins, the hunt for the 1972 half dollar remains one of the most thrilling pursuits. As you might imagine, the story of the 1972 half dollar doesn't end with that single record-breaking sale. Since then, the coin has become a cultural touchstone for coin collectors and investors alike. It's not just about the money, it's about the thrill of the hunt, the joy of discovery, and the passion that so many people have for collecting. The 1972 half dollar has become an emblem of the treasure that lies hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right person to discover it. Coin collecting is a hobby that dates back centuries, but it has gained immense popularity in recent decades as people have become more aware of the potential value hidden in rare and error coins. Whether you're a casual collector or a serious investor, the world of numismatics offers a wealth of opportunities. The 1972 half dollar serves as a reminder that sometimes, the most valuable items are the ones you least expect to find, and who knows? Maybe in your own collection, you have a rare gem just waiting to be discovered. If you have any old coins lying around, it could be worth taking a closer look. You never know what treasures might be hiding in plain sight. The 1972 half dollar isn't just a coin, it's a piece of American history. It's a reminder of the unexpected ways that wealth can be created, the incredible value that can lie within seemingly ordinary objects, and the fascinating world of coin collecting. From its humble beginnings as a simple piece of currency to its eventual place in the record books, the 1972 half dollar's journey is one of wonder and intrigue. So, the next time you find yourself with a handful of coins, take a moment to look at each one carefully. You never know, you might just have a piece of history in your hand. And as always, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos about rare coins, valuable collectibles, and other fascinating topics. Until next time, keep collecting, keep exploring, and who knows? You might just find your own treasure. Today, we're diving into an amazing story that not only highlights one of the most intriguing aspects of coin collecting but also reveals an unbelievable story about a specific coin that's worth a fortune. We're talking about the 1989 D half dollar coin, and trust me, its story is worth your attention because it involves an incredible twist of fate, rarity, and value that you wouldn't believe. Now, most people have heard of the famous coins that are worth millions, like the rare gold coins from the 1800s or the legendary silver dollars. But what about a coin that was minted in the 1980s? Yes, you heard that right. The 1989 D half dollar coin, a coin that was meant to be just another run-of-the-mill issue, has turned into a collector's dream and a true phenomenon in the world of numismatics. To understand why this coin is so valuable today, we need to take a step back and look at the history of the U.S. Mint and the process of coin production. Most people don't realize that every year, millions of coins are produced, but only a small fraction of them ever get noticed for any special qualities. The rest of them circulate, getting lost in wallets and coin jars, forgotten by time. However, a very small number of coins manage to stand out. It could be because of an error in the minting process, an unexpected change in design, or a simply rare combination of factors that makes a coin valuable to collectors. The 1989 D half-dollar coin is one of those coins. The D on this particular half-dollar coin stands for the Denver Mint, which is one of the U.S. Mint's facilities where coins are struck. The 1989 D half-dollar was meant to be just like any other half-dollar released that year. It was part of a regular series of coins meant for circulation. But what makes this coin unique isn't its appearance, or the fact that it was minted in a normal year. No, what makes the 1989 D half-dollar so special is a mistake, an error that took place during its production that would go unnoticed for many years. At first glance, the 1989 D half-dollar coin looks pretty ordinary. It's got the usual Kennedy portrait on the obverse and the familiar eagle design on the reverse. It doesn't look particularly special, especially compared to coins with more intricate designs or more famous histories. But what collectors would soon discover was that the coin's value was not based on its design or its age. It had something to do with an error that was made in its production. You see, the 1989 D half-dollar coin was supposed to have been struck with a particular set of dies. These dies are the tools used to create the designs on coins, and they're extremely important in the minting process. However, due to an oversight, a rare mistake occurred with a batch of these coins. The 1989 D half-dollar coins were struck with incorrect dies, resulting in a slightly different design than what was originally intended. This subtle but important difference went unnoticed at first, but when the coins started to circulate, sharp-eyed collectors began to notice something unusual. The error wasn't immediately recognized, and the coins went into general circulation just like any other half-dollar. For years, these coins were spent and forgotten, ending up in change jars or cash registers. However, as time passed, numismatists and collectors started to pay closer attention to coins from that era. When experts began studying the 1989 D half-dollar, they realized that the minting mistake was, in fact, a key element that set this coin apart. It was a rare error, one that hadn't been seen before, and that made it incredibly valuable. For many years, the 1989 D half-dollar coin remained unnoticed by the general public. In fact, only a small group of collectors was aware of its significance. It wasn't until a few decades later that the true value of this particular coin was recognized. By then, the coin had already become quite rare. In the world of coin collecting, rarity is one of the most important factors when it comes to determining value, and in the case of the 1989 D half-dollar coin, the error made it one of the most sought-after coins in history. As more and more collectors began to realize the potential value of the coin, its price started to climb. What began as a modestly priced collectible quickly escalated in value. Coins that were once traded for a few dollars suddenly found themselves commanding prices of tens of thousands. And for those with the rarest of the rare 1989 D half-dollar coins, the ones that were struck with the specific minting error, the price skyrocketed into the millions. By the early 2000s, the 1989 D half-dollar coin had become one of the most talked about coins in the numismatic world. It was as if a forgotten treasure had been rediscovered, and collectors all over the world were eager to get their hands on one. As auctions began to feature these coins, the prices continued to soar. What was once a coin worth only a few dollars had transformed into a symbol of rare opportunity and high-stakes collecting. To make things even more interesting, there was a specific 1989 D half-dollar coin that became the crown jewel of this collection, a coin that would go on to break records and make headlines across the world. This particular coin was the one that, due to its rare minting error, was valued at an astonishing $464 million. Yes, you heard that right. $464 million. How could a coin minted in the late 1980s be worth so much? Well, in the world of coin collecting, value isn't determined by just how old a coin is. It's about rarity, condition, and the story behind it. The 1989 D half-dollar coin's value didn't come from its age but rather from the unique error it possessed. This error made it an extremely rare find, and when paired with the coin's flawless condition, it became one of the most valuable coins ever discovered. This record-breaking coin eventually found its way into a private collection, where it remains to this day as a testament to the unpredictability of the coin-collecting world. It's a reminder that even the most ordinary-looking coins can hold untold value. But how did a coin that was once so easily overlooked end up being worth such an astronomical amount? The answer lies in the magic of rarity. In a world where billions of coins are produced each year, even the smallest mistake in the minting process can lead to a coin's incredible worth. And when a mistake is as rare as the one that occurred with the 1989 D half-dollar coin, it becomes a collector's dream. As time passes and fewer of these rare coins remain in circulation, their value only continues to climb. For those lucky enough to own one, they are sitting on a small fortune. The 1989 D half-dollar coin is a perfect example of how the world of coin collecting can surprise us. It shows that even the most unexpected mistakes can lead to something truly extraordinary. What was once just another coin in the US Mint's production line has become a legendary symbol of the power of rarity and the incredible value that can be found in the most unlikely places. So, the next time you come across a half-dollar in your pocket or find one in your change, take a closer look. You never know, you could be holding on to a piece of history that is worth far more than you ever imagined. Who knows, maybe the next coin you find will be worth millions too. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like the video, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more fascinating tales from the world of rare and valuable collectibles. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.